Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. How did he survive? Luo Feng looked outside. He could feel the strong emotions from his godly power ocean, the emotions from Universe Masters and Universe Supreme Masters from the United Forces Alliance. Why can't I? Too late to regret it. Luo Feng's eyes glinted coldly. The combination of around 1,000 godly bodies of Universe Masters was indeed incredibly powerful. Actually, Luo Feng had accepted the worst situation, the Freedom Alliance joining the United Forces Alliance, when proposing that plan. He had prepared for a soul attack at this level. As for material attacks, he wasn't afraid of a long battle with his remote ocean godly body. The only thing he was worried about was a soul attack. Luo Feng was worried, as were Primal Chaos City Leader and the others, which was why he let those 100+ Universe Masters of other races attack him first. That attack had already reached level 8. Luo Feng had proposed the test, because he believed that he had perfect godly power, and his mind was at the Universe Supreme Master level. Plus, he had Star Tower to protect his soul. He deemed that he was able to resist a level 9 attack. Besides, he had obtained the 3 techniques from the inheritance of Duan Dong River. And Duan Mie could accelerate the burning of his godly power, making him stronger, so he could resist a level 10 attack. The idea sounded good, but Luo Feng wasn't certain. What happened? He wondered. I didn't even use Crazy Demon Extermination godly armor, and I only used Star Tower to guard my soul. How come an 8th level attack was so weak? Luo Feng was astonished that a level 8 attack was nothing to him. He then summoned the new remote ocean body, at 1,000 times life gene level. He let Star Tower guard the new remote ocean body, and asked those Universe Masters to attack him again. His new remote ocean body was able to resist a level 8 attack easily with Star Tower. My new remote ocean boy was able to resist that. If the endless remote ocean body is stronger, it means it can resist a level 9 attack. With Duan Mie, I can even resist a level 10 attack. Luo Feng was overjoyed, but he was amazed as well. He speculated that he could only barely resist a level 10 attack. Based on his calculations, remote ocean and Duan Mie, which improved Luo Feng's godly power defense to Universe Supreme Master level, and Star Tower could barely resist a level 10 attack. The new remote ocean body and Star Tower could barely resist a level 8 attack. However, it was much easier than he thought. The new remote ocean body, guarded by Star Tower, was able to resist the level 8 attack without any problem. My remote ocean body is much more powerful, and it must be thanks to Star Tower. Luo Feng immediately realized that this was one of the distinctions of Star Tower. Star Tower was an exceptional supreme true treasure. It had higher requirements for recognizing a master than all the known Universe Supreme Masters. Even Shawu Wing had lower requirements. It was far more demanding than other supreme true treasures. Sitting Mountain Guest had created the Earthlings, just for master recognition, and only after an eternity was the proper master, Luo Feng, born. How could a true treasure be mediocre, when it had such incredible requirements? Luo Feng had always thought that Star Tower was special, yet he hadn't been able to find it until he strove to the limit of his abilities, using it to guard his soul. He now realized how extraordinary Star Tower was at guarding souls. My remote ocean godly power ocean was burning around all the 17 true treasure palaces, thought Luo Feng. I also performed Duan Mie, so it maintained the maximum power. Star Tower also guarded at the center of my endless remote ocean to guard the soul. It endured a soul attack and resisted it easily. I only experienced difficulty after I slowed down burning and stopped performing Duan Mie. He was fully prepared. And Star Tower gave him a happy surprise. One side was exhilarated, while the other side was horrified. Stop wasting time. Make attacks now. Primal Chaos City Leader pointed at the nearest palace true treasure. The Universe Masters of other the races glanced at Primal Chaos City Leader. Wasting time. The other races were still calm. On the contrary, the human universe masters were all thrilled, hugging Luo Feng, some of them even tearing up. The human universe masters were the ones wasting time. Attack! Attack! All the universe masters from the human team, including those in Ancestral God Altar, created blurry godly power attacks. A being appeared above remote ocean. It was Luo Feng, dressed in black and carrying a blade. He held ancient god eye in his left hand, shedding light upon the true treasure palace. It created a portal, and the mind shock swept through the palace true treasure uninhibited. The soul attack followed. An old voice was transmitted. Beware, Dream T. The powerful mind shock arrived right after the voice. Dream Demon Ancestor resisted it easily, yet 90% of the universe masters under her were down. Only 3 still stood. Mind shock. Dream Demon Ancestor was worried. Dream Demon Ancestor whipped her tail and returned all the universe masters into her world ring. The master of the Northern Territory Alliance saw it with Shichu Starlight River. He was startled and transmitted his voice to all the true treasure palaces. Be careful. We didn't kill Luo Feng, so we're at an absolute disadvantage. Once the human team makes soul attacks, every team will be in great danger. Once the human team draws near, the Universe Supreme Masters had better put their Universe Masters away. We don't have a Universe Supreme Master on our team. Neither do we. The teams from the Freedom Alliance were all anxious. There were 6 teams in the Freedom Alliance, and only one of them had a Supreme Master, Shahua Island leader. Get close to other teams quickly. The more Universe Masters, the safer it will be, Northern Territory Alliance Master said, transmitting his voice. Gather with the teams that have Universe Supreme Masters. Remote ocean is everywhere, and it has incredible binding power. It's trapping us, so the palace true treasure can't fly at all. We can't fly. The godly power ocean is trapping us. All the teams were worried, including the Universe Supreme Masters. They only felt they were being resisted when controlling the true treasure palaces. The godly power ocean was binding the palaces, making them incredibly slow, only 1/100th of light speed. Little did they know that the godly power ocean was burning and performing Duan Mia to stop them, so it had strong resistance. Luo Feng still wasn't satisfied with the resistance. He transmitted his voice, saying, Ancestral gods, please use 5-color Aurora Lake. Okay. Auroras appeared in the sky, sweeping across the sky and striking Shichu Starlight Lake. Both 5-color Aurora Lake and Shichu Starlight Lake were Domain Supreme true treasures. They hit each other, and Shichu Starlight Lake backed off. Soon, 5-color Aurora Lake and Shichu Starlight Lake occupied areas of the same size. Golden Country. Luo Feng shook his 4 wings, and the dimming golden light spread. It aided 5-color Aurora Lake in suppressing Shichu Starlight Lake, shrinking it further. 80% of the area was controlled by the human team. Golden Country wasn't strong enough, so it couldn't help 5-color Aurora Lake any more than that. Humph. Luo Feng smiled. It was enough. If he let Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher use the valuable Palm Universe left by Teacher Origin, it would be much more effective than his Golden Country, but it wasn't the time yet. He wanted to leave it to the end in case the United Forces Alliance still had a trump card. Uncle Darkness. Luo Feng looked at Darkness Master beside him. Darkness Master smiled. Is it our turn? I can't wait any longer. Let's go claim our prey. Luo Feng moved his body and flew out. Darkness Master carried Black Prison Tower and flew out as well. As for the Universe Masters of other races and the Human Universe Masters, they all stayed in Star Tower. Northern Territory Alliance Master performed Shichu Starlight Lake, and it only occupied part of the area. He was from the United Forces Alliance, and it could only protect their 8 palaces. As for the other 3 palaces and 6 palaces of the Freedom Alliance, it couldn't protect them. Especially the Freedom Alliance. For one thing, the godly power ocean burning under Duan Mia had incredible resistance. For another thing, they couldn't speed up under 5-color Aurora Lake and Golden Country. They couldn't reach 1/100th of light speed, and the true treasure palaces were billions of kilometers away from each other, if not farther. After all, the base of Star Tower was 100 billion kilometers long, so the palaces around them were far from each other. Material attack. Use a material attack to blast away the godly power ocean. Damn that godly power ocean. Blast it away. The teams in the true treasure palaces were all horrified. They all attacked the ocean around them. The attacks were consumed by the godly power ocean once they left the palaces. After all, the entire ocean was godly power. The godly powers continued being consuming, and the ocean kept surging. At that moment, Luo Feng carried an ancient god, while Darkness Master carried Black Prison Tower. Their speed wasn't constrained, and they reached light speed and entered the Dark Universe in no time. They then went back to the original universe from the Dark Universe, arriving directly in front of the true treasure palace, that had originally been more than 10 billion kilometers tall. Uncle Darkness, drive Black Prison Tower to capture our prey, said Luo Feng. He stared at the palace belonging to Freedom Alliance that held more than 70 universe masters. No matter how composed Darkness Master was, at this moment, he too was unable to contain his emotions. Throughout the entire universe ocean, who could capture over 70 universe masters in one go? Rise. Holding his breath, Darkness Master held out his right arm. Instantly, that black pyramid flew out from his palm and started to grow at a crazy speed. In a blink of the eye, it had transformed into a lofty tower that was 100 million kilometers tall. At the same time, a deep abyss also appeared at the base of the pyramid. The black pyramid took aim at the black, disc-shaped palace true treasure before it right away. Luo Feng watched and smiled. In his palm, another ancient god eye appeared. Now, there were two ancient god eyes, one with Mosha body, the other with his original body. Go. Luo Feng positioned his palm to face the disc-shaped palace true treasure, and the surrounding godly ocean water automatically parted to give way to a root. In fact, even if there were occasional interferences, Luo Feng's willpower would not be greatly affected. The invisible impact of his willpower swept toward the disc, which contained a total of 72 universe masters. After being hit by this bout of impact from his willpower, 65 universe masters lost consciousness. Only 7 remained awake. They had extremely strong willpower, and were the true elites of the entire team. These 7 universe masters had a total of 11 godly bodies. It's the impact of willpower. Block it. Vaya, what should we do? The 7 universe masters, with their 11 godly bodies, were panicking. The other universe masters, who had weaker willpower, were all knocked out, so there was no way they could render any help. With only 7 left, how were they going to resist? Plus, the other palace true treasures of the Freedom Alliance were at least 10 billion kilometers away. Help would not arrive as quickly as they needed it. Black Prison Tower is swallowing. Block it. Hang on. If we are sucked into Black Prison Tower, we are finished. The 7 universe masters were in a heightened state of panic, and were losing their minds with every passing moment. No matter how insanely they fought, their efforts to resist were futile. Previously, they'd had many universe masters, so they could wipe out the godly ocean water obstacles that surrounded them. With concerted efforts, they had overcome the obstacles placed in their way by 5-color Aurora Lake and Golden County. But now that they were left with only 7 universe masters, manipulating their palace true treasures to move was difficult. Now, they were facing the danger of being sucked into Black Prison Tower. If it was only being swallowed by Black Prison Tower, perhaps they could still put up a fight to counterattack. But there was also the annoying godly ocean water in their surroundings, which was dealing them multiple blows and pushing them steadily toward their doom. This godly ocean was pushing their palace true treasure in the direction of Black Prison Tower. No, there is no way I can block it. I am unable to block it. No, no. These universe masters, albeit most unwillingly, were annihilated. In the faraway core ground of the Freedom Alliance on the island that was seated in the middle of the endless golden waves, over 400 universe masters, and Shahua Island leader, had all left their godly avatars. We are unable to block it. We are hit by the impact of the willpower. Only 7 of us, who are barely able to resist it, remain. And we are also under a double oppressive force, by 5-color Aurora Lake and the godly ocean water. Now, with Black Prison Tower swallowing, we are unable to put up further resistance. The palace is heading toward that Black Prison Tower now. Everyone, please save us. On the numerous thrones, especially those in one particular section, various godly avatars of Universe Masters Saturday. None made a single move. They had all lost consciousness. Only the 7 who could resist the impact were left, and they were all extremely worried. We are too far away. There is no way we can make it there in time. We are facing double obstructions, by the godly ocean waters and 5-color Aurora Lake. The hindering force is far too great. It is simply impossible to accelerate. Simply impossible to reach light speed, not to mention about entering the dark universe. How? Groups of Universe Masters in the other palace true treasures might not be facing any fatal risks, but seeing how their fellow Alliance members were being attacked, they could not help but worry and panic about facing the same fate. Suddenly, the 7 Universe Masters, who had been anxious a moment ago, showed looks of despair as they said, "We are being swallowed by Black Prison Tower." All 72 of us Universe Masters have been swallowed by Black Prison Tower. Instantly, everything in the surroundings quietened down. 72 Universe Masters. Heavens! It was just a short moment of peace and quiet. Then, soon enough, those Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance, who had managed to survive the ordeal, grew even more anxious. It was that item with impactful willpower. It was that item with impactful willpower. If not for that, with over 70 Universe Masters combining forces, even if we were temporarily trapped in the godly ocean waters, that Black Tower prison will not be able to swallow us all. True. So long as that treasure is around, our advantage of having greater numbers will no longer exist. Over 70 Universe Masters. In an instant, 90% were knocked out, and only 7 are left to continue resisting. What should we do? If we had known this earlier, we would not have divided ourselves into 6 teams. If we were all combined in one team, with over 400 Universe Masters gathered together, I think at least a few dozen Universe Masters would be able to resist the impact of being hit by that willpower. Also, with Shahua Island leader around, we would not be taking such a passive approach. Who could have expected Luo Feng would come up with this endless godly ocean water to trap us? The Freedom Alliance was filled with apprehension. Earlier, they had decided on splitting up into 6 teams for 2 reasons. For one thing, there would be 6 major factions to deal with the human camp. For another, if they planned to join the United Forces Alliance, even if any of these 6 teams were hit by the impactful willpower, at least only part of the alliance would be affected. If they all congregated at the same place, it would mean that their combat power was straight away reduced by 90%. Ha. At that moment, even Darkness Master, who was usually so composed and aloof, could not contain his emotions any further. He broke into hearty laughter. That huge, black pyramid shrank rapidly to land within his palm. Over 70 Universe Masters, all captured in one swift move. Darkness Master stood amidst the mighty godly ocean water, and could not help gloating. Comparing all the Universe Supreme Masters in Universe Ocean, I suppose there won't be many who have achieved such a great feat. Then he looked toward Luo Feng, who was by his side. He knew that to be able to achieve something so great, there were, of course, many unique factors. For one, they had a strange object like the ancient god Eye. With its impactful willpower, they could deprive opponents of the advantage of greater numbers. Secondly, with the godly ocean waters and the 5-color Aurora Lake intertwining and surrounding the enemy, there was no way the opponent could escape. Thirdly, Luo Feng had been, unexpectedly, capable of blocking a soul attack that was jointly launched by over 800 Universe Masters and over 10 Supreme Masters. This had rendered the United Forces Alliance helpless before Luo Feng, so they could only struggle within his remote ocean. Darkness Master looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, we have you to thank this time around. Luck, said Luo Feng. He shook his head. A combination of various factors allowed us to make it this far. Not one could have been left out. As for my remote ocean, moving it about is extremely tough. If the United Forces Alliance had been able to escape, I think it would have been very difficult to come by another opportunity like this. Moving the vast remote ocean was indeed extremely tough. If enemies were far off, there wasn't much remote ocean could do. If they had managed to escape this time, they would have had no trouble making it further than this area, a few light years away, unless the humans remained hidden within this area under the influence of the remote ocean. If not, once they left this area of influence, without the protection of remote ocean, they were bound to be trampled on. That's why. Darkness Master said in his cold voice, we need to make good use of this opportunity. Make them fall into your remote ocean, then, in one swift move, capture as many as we can. That way, the number of universe masters in our human camp will greatly increase. True. Luo Feng nodded with a solemn expression. Such an opportunity is hard to come by. We must capture as many universe masters as we can. Within Black Prison Tower. Upon being captured, the 72 universe masters from various races heard a voice the moment they fell into that endless dark space. Dear all from Freedom Alliance, do not worry. So long as you do not treat us as your enemies, and express your willingness to help us, we, humans, will not harm any of you. We are willing to help the humans. We are willing to help. We are willing to join the human camp. Many universe masters of the various races were already in great despair, which was why, when they heard the voice, they immediately shouted to express their willingness. Joining the humans' side was what they had originally intended to do in the past. It was just that Purple Moon Holy Land had offered them more appealing terms. This was why they had decided to help the United Forces Alliance. Yet, no matter how great the potential benefit, nothing mattered more than being alive. All of them surrendered. Even those who had other bodies, and were thus not facing any life-threatening danger, were willing to surrender to the humans. After all, they were unwilling to give up the godly bodies that were mainly used in war. Furthermore, they were also unwilling to give up on the various true treasures they had spent countless years accumulating. Because Five-Color Aurora Lake and Golden Country were joining forces to keep Shichu Starlight River suppressed, the United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance were unable to promptly learn of each other's situation. Northern Territory Alliance Master then crossed the distance to directly contact Shahua Island leader, who updated him on the situation. The humans have combined the powers of a treasure with impactful willpower, Black Prison Tower, Godly Ocean Water, and Five-Color Aurora Lake when fighting us. They have already captured one of the Freedom Alliance's teams. What? This piece of news shocked Northern Territory Alliance Master. The humans' main power was still fighting the United Forces Alliance. Godly powers were bombarding one another as the battle raged on. So, what was happening here was only for show. The real deal was over at the other side. Northern Alliance Master quickly transmitted a voice message. Everyone. The human camp is using a combination of various true treasures, the treasure with impactful willpower, Black Prison Tower, Godly Ocean Water, and several others. They have already captured one of the teams from our Freedom Alliance. Proceed with the utmost caution. Do not let the humans get their way. With a move of intention, he transmitted the message via the conscious mind. He had to send the information to every other Universe Supreme Master. A move of intention was a unique method used by a Universe Supreme Master. To reach the level of a Universe Master from a normal ordinary great being, they all had to rely on the primal universe origin. Everything about them, for instance, their godly powers, was dependent on what the primal universe origin bestowed upon them, which was why there were numerous laws of the universe origin that they were unable to resist no matter how strong they were. The reason was simply because the source of their strength originated from the primal universe origin. As for Universe Supreme Masters, they would have their own universe. They relied on themselves. As a result, they could easily resist the beckoning of the dark universe, and easily exceed the speed of light to continue to remain within the space of the primal universe. They could also glide across vast stretches of time and space to land somewhere far away. Of course, they had weaknesses too. For instance, the talent technique given by the primal universe, the ability to divide bodies, along with some other talent techniques, would all be taken away. The primal universe would no longer bestow any kindness to them. They would have to depend on themselves in all aspects. Not good. Father God of automaton race also transmitted his thoughts. Anxiously, he said, "We cannot allow the humans to capture Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance as they please. There are many Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance. If they are captured by the humans, I'm afraid they will quickly switch sides over to the human camp. By then, the human camp will increase in strength. Even without this godly power of ocean water, or any other devious means, they will not fear us at all. Hurry. We shall leave this area, under the influence of the remote ocean right away. And we will do our best to help the Freedom Alliance, one team at a time. The more teams we help, the fewer teams the humans capture. The Freedom Alliance has a total of 6 teams, and one of them is headed by Shahua Island leader, which means the humans will be able to capture as many as 5 teams. That means over 300 Universe Masters. Once they are all captured, the number of Universe Masters in the human camp will soar to more than 500, which makes up more than half the number of Universe Masters in the entire primal universe. By then, for all eternity, we will no longer be able to suppress the humans. Hurry. The United Forces Alliance was growing anxious, but they were also clear that understanding what to do was one thing, whether they could achieve it or not was another story altogether. Get in, everyone. Get in. Father God from the automaton race, shock demon ancestor, dream demon ancestor, prison race devil ancestor, holy master from the crystal race, bug empress, Northern Territory Alliance master, space beast ancestor, black universe creator, Jew, virtual real devil master, and Shahua Island leader all gathered the Universe Masters under them back to their world rings, or true treasure palaces. For what it was worth, the United Forces Alliance team didn't count on winning anymore. They just wanted to get away while preserving as much power as possible. As long as they could escape remote ocean, the humans were still at a disadvantage. However, if the humans captured a group of Universe Masters, the United Forces Alliance would lose that group of Universe Masters, who could add to the humans' power. The effect was significant. Quick! Luo Feng transmitted his voice in remote ocean. Uncle Darkness, we need to act now. The United Forces Alliance is making a last-ditch struggle. Okay. Darkness Master was nervous. Moshe Body, beside Star Tower, was holding Ancient God Eye, standing on top of the ocean. He turned around and looked at Star Tower, saying, "Teacher, the United Forces Alliance is making a last struggle. We need to capture as many Universe Masters as possible. I'll go use Star Tower. We have more than 100 Universe Masters here. We don't need Star Tower," Primal Chaos City leader urged. "Go and capture those Universe Masters." Okay. Moshe Luo Feng waved his hand, and Star Tower shrank and fell into his hands. Go. Moshe Body reached light speed and entered the dark universe, trying to capture the Universe Masters as quickly as possible. Larger. 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 A giant silver snake was swimming in the endless ocean, enlarging itself. Dream Demon Ancestor controlled the True Treasure Palace. However, when the Pinnacle True Treasure tried to enlarge itself, it was suppressed by the godly power ocean and couldn't get larger. It put back his True Treasure Palace and showed its original body. Its godly body became larger. The ocean's binding power couldn't match that of Universe Supreme Master Dream Demon Ancestor. It couldn't enlarge itself infinitely. Without restraint, it could enlarge itself like Star Tower. However, if it was confined to a small area, an area would decide how much it could bulge. If it was in a cave on an ordinary planet, it could easily become larger and crash through the resistance. However, in a room in Boat of Mausoleum, even a supreme true treasure couldn't break through it. When Luo Feng was encircled by the Universe Supreme Masters in Universe Ocean of Mausoleum, had been devoured by the eternal true God of Divine Eye clan, yet it could still bulge and crash through that eternal true treasure. Ordinary supreme true treasures couldn't do that. Damn godly power ocean. Northern Territory Alliance Master, Father God, Shock Demon Ancestor, and virtual real Devil Master were all furious yet helpless. They couldn't even control true treasure palaces, so they would rather control their own godly bodies. They all revealed their true bodies and started to grow larger. Although the power of their bodies was stronger than Luo Feng's godly power ocean, the ocean was performing Du and Mie, the resistance was still strong, and it was only slightly weak than them. Their godly bodies couldn't be enlarged quickly enough. Generally, they could become 10 billion kilometers long immediately, but at the moment, the rate was much slower, 1 million kilometers, 10 million kilometers, 50 million kilometers, 100 million kilometers. Larger, larger, larger. Bug Empress's Empress Palace was becoming larger at a normal speed. Empress Palace was a supreme true treasure, so it was strong enough. All the 12 giant objects were bulging, including Empress Palace, and the original bodies of the 11 Universe Supreme Masters. Those original bodies, whether they be a silver snake, a wicked giant, a beast, or a beauty, were all growing. 100 million kilometers, 500 million kilometers, 1 billion kilometers. The ocean water tried to suppress the bodies, making them slower and slower. Empress Palace, however, was still fast and was already tens of billions of kilometers tall. The human team watched the 12 giant objects becoming larger and larger in remote ocean water. They want to enlarge their godly bodies to draw closer to each other, so that they can help the Freedom Alliance, said Primal Chaos City leader. He watched the Universe Supreme Masters from the United Forces Alliance growing. He waved his right hand, and an art valuable floated on the water, quickly becoming larger. A mountain, a lake, and a wooden house. The mountain, the peaceful lake, and the wooden house floated on the tumbling godly power ocean, which confused all the Universe Masters from the other races. What was Primal Chaos City leader doing? One of Primal Chaos City leader's bodies appeared and walked to the mountain, while another body walked to the lake. A green sky covered the godly power ocean, and grey land stretched out under it. The wooden house was like the center of the universe, gleaming and covering an area of 1 square light year. The green sky and the grey land were like two lids, combining into a universe whose center was the wooden house. What is this? The Universe Masters of other races felt a strong pressure, as the endless light covered the entire area. The 11 Universe Supreme Masters, and Empress Palace, all slowed down immediately and sharply. Palm Universe and 5-color Aurora Lake combined were dissipating the golden country of Luo Feng. After all, Golden Country overlapped with Palm Universe. Palm Universe and 5-color Aurora Lake. The two of them combined were so powerful that Shichu Starlight Lake was annihilated as well. What is that? How can the humans have another valuable? It's a valuable for controlling space and time. It seems to be more powerful and wields even more pressure. Father God, Prison Race Devil Ancestor, Shock Demon Ancestor, and the other Supreme Masters were all nervous. They were struggling and burning their godly bodies, trying to become larger. Shahua Island leader started to transmit his voice to all the Universe Masters from Freedom Alliance. Separate. Each team from the Freedom Alliance immediately broke into 3 or 4 teams, with each team carrying around 20 Universe Masters. They tried to run away separately. The human team only has Star Tower and Black Prison Tower, so they can't be that efficient. Separate now so that the humans can't capture many Universe Masters. Shahua Island leader was already 3 billion kilometers tall and still trying to grow larger. He was in the Freedom Alliance, so he was closer to true treasure palaces belonging to the Freedom Alliance. Separate. 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 One team from the Freedom Alliance was just captured while Shahua Island leader protected another team. There were still 4 teams left. Their members started to split up. Each team had around 20 Universe Masters. Some of them had bodies, so there were a bit more than 20 bodies. The combination of those 20 godly bodies was already more powerful than top tier level 6, and it had reached level 7. Attacks at level 7 could at least blast away the godly power ocean around them so they could fly slowly. If there had been fewer of them, they wouldn't have been able to even move in the godly power ocean. Capture. Luo Feng and Darkness Master stared at the 4 true treasure palaces flying in 4 different directions. Swallow, Darkness Master said and waved his hand. Black prison tower flew out, bulging, and starting to swallow. Luo Feng frowned. They are starting to disperse. It's going to be harder. Those separated true treasure palaces flew slowly, and were not far from each other. But even though they were not far, it would take more time. And with time flying by, the teams from the Freedom Alliance would be farther from each other. Ancient God Eye and Black Prison Tower combined, swallowed the green, boat-sized true treasure palace. The Universe Masters inside could do nothing to resist it. Capture! 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 With Ancient God Eye and Black Prison Tower combined, the human team tried to capture as many true treasure palaces as possible. With time going by, Shahua Island leader was already 8 billion kilometers tall. He reached his hands and grabbed a true treasure palace. Come here. The Universe Masters inside the true treasure palace didn't struggle, instead, they cheered, Alliance Master. Shahua Island leader took it back easily. No, said Luo Feng. One of the true treasure palaces was taken by Shahua Island leader. He was getting nervous. Shahua Island leader was the closest one to the palaces, so he was the first to act. There were other Universe Supreme Masters in the United Forces Alliance, too. Empress Palace would enter the area soon. I'll capture them as many as possible. Luo Feng stopped thinking. On the human side, every possible asset was being utilized: the Godly Power Ocean, 5-color Aurora Lake, Palm Universe, Ancient God Eye, Star Tower, and Black Prison Tower. Luo Feng's remote ocean was blocking those Universe Supreme Masters, and was also performing Duan Mia to maintain its maximum power. But it still took time to capture them. The largest object from the United Forces Alliance in remote ocean was Empress Palace, which was already 200 billion kilometers tall. Empress Palace was surrounded by Godly Power Ocean winding around it, controlling the palace. That Luo Feng's a handful. Bug Empress said begrudgingly. If Luo Feng's Godly Power Ocean hadn't been winding around it, Empress Palace would have been 10 times taller, and all the true treasure palaces from the Freedom Alliance would have been saved. Go. Save us, Bug Empress. Come in. Come in. A long white arm extended out of the giant Empress Palace, and grabbed the palace true treasures. The Universe Masters inside didn't resist, making Bug Empress's efforts much more effective. Bug Empress and Shahua Island leader were both trying to take as many true treasure palaces as possible. As for Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Mosha Body, they were divided into 2 teams capturing the true treasure palaces. Finally, other than the 11 giant godly bodies and the towering Empress Palace, there were no true treasure palaces from the United Forces Alliance left in remote ocean. Apparently, they had all been taken. In the endless Godly Power Ocean, Mosha Body, Luo Feng's original body, and Darkness Master stood side by side, checking on the Universe Masters they had captured. Darkness Master sighed. We tried our best. Empress Palace is too large, and the Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance cooperated with her. We've only captured 208 Universe Masters. Far fewer than I expected. He sighed again, but when he and Luo Feng exchanged eye contact, they couldn't hold it back anymore. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng and Darkness Master started to guffaw, laughing recklessly with relief. After this fight, nobody would be a threat to the humans anymore. This video will end here.